Good morning, and a very happy Lent to everyone. That phrase, happy Lent, seems almost to be kind of a contradiction. This season that we embark on now in our church, this season of 40 days, as we approach the Holy Triduum, as we approach the mystery of Easter, that glorious moment. This is my favorite season during our liturgical calendar. Because there's something about taking on fasting, almsgiving, and prayer, and kind of committing to those three major themes of Lent, those three major themes of our gospel today as we approach Easter. When I think of this, one of the best parts about Lent is obviously the colors. Purple and gold have a good spot in my heart. Most of the time, during October, they mean something different. During October, November, December, usually they mean something a little bit different as we're cheering for the LSU Tigers, right? And I remember going, when I was a student at LSU, that there was many times that when a football game was going on, if you don't know, the student section is general admission. So when you're a student, if you want the good seats, you got to be there nice and early. Well, for me, I remember many a game of waiting outside the stadium 2, 3, 4 hours before the gates even opened. We're talking 5 hours before kickoff. So 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I know where to be, so that when the gates open, I'm running to my spot. Now, for me, I love some LSU football. So 5 hours of waiting in a line, of waiting for a game to start, wasn't much. Like that seems to a lot of people like, man, that's a long, boring time to be in a line. But for me, there wasn't too much of a cost because of what I love on the back end. I think for us, as we approach this time of Lent, when we hear the themes, that prayer, the fasting, the almsgiving, those places where we commit during this season of Lent, during these 40 days, like giving up chocolate or Coke or your favorite type of chips, can seem like a heavy cost. Like fasting from those kind of things can seem pretty heavy, unless we look at why we're doing it. Unless we look at what's on the other end of the 40 days. Can I give up something for 40 days, not just as some kind of act of the will or some kind of like macho way of saying I did this, but can I give it up for someone? Can I give it up so that as we approach Easter, can taste the joys of Easter evermore? Prayer. Can I commit to some sort of extra prayer during this Lenten season? Some sort of extra, whether that be a daily mass, whether that be an extra couple of prayers before I go to bed, a rosary, Divine Mercy Chaplet, something tangible, simple. But can I commit to something for a month and a week so that when we get to Easter, I know the one whose resurrection we celebrate evermore. I come to know Jesus better on the other side of Lent. Almsgiving. Can I give a little extra of my time or my talent or my treasure? Whether that be to the church, to someone in need. Can I commit to doing that over the course of these 40 days? Can I let go of something and give it to someone else who may need it more? As to get my possessions or my stuff out of the way so that I can come to know the Lord better. See, just like as a student at LSU who is there more for season tickets and student tickets than he is for an engineering degree, like myself, I'm willing to suffer the 5 hours of waiting in a line for a football game because I know what I'm suffering for. I'm willing to give up the tailgate and the fun and the food and whatever else was waiting for me there because I know giving it up, on the back end I was going to be rewarded. As we embark on Lent, as we embark on this season, the season of giving up, the season of suffering, of embracing suffering, do we know what we're doing it for? Do we know what the prize is on the other side? Do we know who we're called to know better through it? Today, we come before the Lord in this beautiful Mass, in this beautiful liturgy, and on our heads will be placed ashes. And these ashes symbolize the ashes that we would be if God would forget about us. In a very real way, if God ever stopped thinking about you, we'd fall out of existence. We'd be no more alive than the ashes that we put on our foreheads today. That Lord that remembers us, that continues to love us, that holds us up in being. Today, we come to remember. We approach this season to remember. And we continue to dive back into the one who loves us. We dive back into a relationship with Him as we approach the day of His resurrection, as we approach His passion, His death on the cross, and that glorious Easter Sunday. Today, we embark on a long journey, a journey of suffering, of fasting, of prayer, of almsgiving. But as we approach that glorious Easter Sunday, we know and we trust that the one who is raised from the dead will be waiting for us if we suffer this time well. I think of married couples. And married couples, when we come to a wedding for a young couple, it's always nice and beautiful because you can sense that they love each other. Usually really nice music, the dress, the flowers, the whole thing looks really pretty. And you can sense their love. But there's something missing. Oftentimes. Oftentimes it's a love that's not tested. So much, in a lot of ways, a 50th anniversary party is so much more beautiful. Because it's a love that's been tried. There's a love that's been tested. There's a love that continues to mature. I think we can say that the level to which we're willing to suffer proves the level to which we serve, which we love. So as we approach Lent, may this not be a time of just decide to give something up for fun, or that I kind of haphazardly say, okay, I'm going to pray this and forget. But let this time of embracing something extra, let that be a time of testing ourselves, of testing our relationship with God. The one who remembers us, the one who loves us, let us test our love for Him. Let us raise the bar and meet it, so that on Easter Sunday, when He rises, when He comes to us, when He opens the tomb and throws open the doors of heaven, we may be ready to meet Him. We may know Him better. And we may, dare I say, love him more.